You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm host Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are ladies, things that makes official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show has been here for 16 years and nearly 3,000 episodes, and we've just been bringing you the most amazing minds, the most amazing stories, the journeys that people take, and all that great stuff. Be sure to refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. YouTube.com/Chris Voss, Facebook.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places in it.
Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind.
Today we have an amazing young man on the show. We're talking about his book called Promotion Denied by Lieutenant Colonel Joseph W. Hoffler, a retired U.S. Air Force. We're going to get into it with him. Welcome to the show. How are you, Joseph?
I'm doing fine today, Chris, and you?
I'm doing excellent. Welcome to the show, sir. Give us your .coms or websites, emails, social media, wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs.
Okay, Joseph W. Hoffler at gmail.com.
So, Joseph, give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside this book?
I'm sorry, I can hear you.
Give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside your book.
Okay, my book deals with my last tour at the Air Force Academy. I've had outstanding ratings my whole 22-year career. Just as I was going to meet the board for promotion, for consideration, promotion to full colonel, my supervisor, who supervised me for 10 days, and his group ran a sham investigation on me.
Wow. And
issued me a letter of reprimand. With a letter of reprimand, there's no way you're going to get promoted in the Air Force. So that was his desire, is to stop me from getting promoted.
Oh, wow.
Therefore, the title, Promotion Denied.
Promotion Denied. And on the cover, it says, the narrowing true story of racism cover-up, betrayal, and vigilante justice of the United States Air Force Academy. And that academy is the one based there in Colorado, correct?
Yes, Colorado Springs. And it has this task is to train future officers and ensure that they live by the honor code. I will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those among us who do.
Yes.
However, 4 senior officers got together, the chief of staff, the staff judge advocate, director of personnel, and the IG, believe it or not, got together and ran a sham investigation on me. I was called in to talk. I had no idea that I was under investigation. And the letter of reprimand is not substantiated. They were all fake allegations.
And so you had a 22-year career with the Air Force.
Yes.
And how far were you into that when this happened? Was there some sort of thing that triggered this, or maybe reasoning that you think they decided to target you out?
This was 21 and a half years, because when this happened, I had 6 months before I got my 22nd year. Actually, there was an airman, a troubled airman who was assigned to my unit. I had a squadron of 87 security policemen, and I had one that was troubled, and he wanted to get back with me. So he teamed up with the chief of staff and the IG to, quote, dig up dirt on me. There's no dirt to dig up on me. And based on that, I got a letter of reprimand. Obviously, the first discipline I've had in my 21 and a half year service commitment. I was in a good position to get promoted to a colonel.
Colonel. Gotta love it. And so did this guy was he a racist? What were some of the scenarios?
He was
that you saw?
definitely a racist, all four of them. They all belonged to the same church. They all went to the same church. Now, I'm not saying the church is racism, but they were all belonged to the LDS.
Oh, they're Mormon.
Church of Latter-day Saints. Okay. Now, again, I'm not saying the church sanctioned it, but the guy who led it was a bishop in the Mormon church, and all of them went to the Mormon church right off campus in Colorado Springs. And there is a history of discrimination by Mormons that supposedly ended in 1978. But I don't know where it did or not. But
it really didn't. I mean, it's endemic in that culture.
Yeah, you can't be raised under that philosophy and all of a sudden you're going to change in one day. You're going to change and forget what you were raised. And that's what happened. But the chief of staff was in power. I tried everything. All of my squadron supported me. 87 people supported me. My ops officer, who was white, my first sergeant was white, but there was nothing we could do.
Wow.
He was determined that I was not going to get promoted.
Wow. And this is unfortunate. Were there now? So this is the impetus, obviously, for writing the book. Your promotion was denied. You feel like it was wrongful, and you play this story out in your book as to how this happened and all this played out.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I didn't consider myself an author, but I had a chance to spread the word, get the word out, because there was a big cover up. The Air Force Academy, as you know, is tasked with educating officers. And occasionally the academy will go through a cycle and say, hey, we have to get some people of color there, so to speak. And that's why I was chosen to go there in 1979 was the year and that's where I was chosen to go.
Yeah.
But they don't want any scandal. They don't want any bad words about it. But it happened. And I have documented proof that it happened. But Chris, the part that bothers me, the whole thing bothers me, obviously, is I joined the Air Force in 1962 to get away from racism. The military was our way out.
Yeah.
I had a college degree. I'm sorry?
What part of the country did you grow up in?
Oh, I grew up in a small town called Hertford, North Carolina.
Okay.
It's on it's near the Outer Banks of North Carolina, as far as east as you could go without being in the water and then the Atlantic Ocean. A town of about, when I was growing up, maybe 2,000. I went to a segregated school, black, white on one side and black on the other. And I also went to a HBCU, North Carolina. It was North Carolina College then, but now it's North Carolina Central University. So that's my background growing up in a racial society.
Yeah, you experienced a lot of racism from that society.
Oh, yes.
Then, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. My school was the second school to lead lunch counter sit-in. The sit-in was led by our sister institution, North Carolina and the next day, North Carolina Central. So I went through all of that, getting ketchup and stuff, coffee poured on my only suit.
Oh, wow. That is unfortunate.
Yes, just to eat at the counter.
Yeah.
They had black people cooking, but you couldn't eat at the counter. We were the second school to be involved in that. And then growing up, of course, we went to the only theater in town and you have to go upstairs. We could not eat in the white restaurants in town.
Wow.
So I was used to that. So joined the service because the service had a reputation for treating everybody equally or better than society was in the 60s.
Yeah. So you found a way out, and then probably a great, a good job, well-paying job. You don't have to worry about the racial prejudice in the workforce in your area of North Carolina there.
Yes. And Chris, I enlisted although I had a college degree. I enlisted, and I had, did a great job. My commander said, "Joe Hoffler, you have a college degree. You should apply for OTS, Officers Training School," which I did. Got accepted, excelled as a security policeman. Then I spent 6 years as a Minuteman missile controller.
Oh, really?
Down in the silo for 5.5 years at Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri. And then England twice and Southeast Asia. Spent my time over there. But I never experienced even a small taste of racism.
Wow.
Not even a small taste of racism. And I was very, very happy with my decision.
Yeah.
So I never experienced anything until my last 6 months at the academy, when the chief of staff and his crew came up with this sham investigation and gave me a letter of reprimand, which nobody could stop him from doing.
Wow.
Got it in my records. Therefore, that's why I didn't get promoted.
Was there a way that you could appeal that in any way, shape, or form by chance?
Oh, yes. I see. The problem was the base IG was involved. The base IG, the base inspector general, who normally I would go to, was also a member of the LDS Church.
Wow.
Social actions officer, who normally I would go to if I had racial problems, was also in on it. He went to the LDS Church. So all of the agencies that would normally help me in this situation did not step up to the plate. My greatest supporter was my captain, who was white, and my first sergeant. We tried to see what we could do, and there wasn't much. So after the letter of reprimand, I decided to just go ahead and retire because I couldn't fight that letter of reprimand. And with that in your records as an officer, you are limited as to the good assignments you can get. I didn't want a terrible assignment somewhere. An officer going to look at my records and see this letter of reprimand, not knowing that it's not true, although I'm going to tell him it's not true, or I probably won't even see him first before he decides on whether or not he wants me. You know what I'm saying? He gets my record first.
Yeah.
Before I get a chance.
Yeah.
So I was going to be a 30-year man.
Wow.
I enjoyed the Air Force that much. I love the Air Force. The Air Force had done a lot for me. But I couldn't go on after the letter of reprimand. But there is a procedure called the Air Force Board of Correction of Military Records. I have applied to that a couple of times, and I'm still going to try to get that done. You know what? But this will be over 40 plus years that I'm still fighting this battle. So I'm going to keep fighting it as long as I have breath in my body, because it's just me. It's just me.
Yeah. And that's all you can do. Now, is there any help you could get from the Pentagon or up the chain of command beyond the
Yes,
area?
this board is out of the Pentagon, and they look at records, and they have the authority to pull the letter of reprimand out of my records and allow me to meet the board for full colonel. And if that does happen, I'm very confident, because before this happened, my career advisor called me and said, "Joe, you are looking good for full colonel, but we need you to extend for 6 months at the academy, because we don't want to, the board move you in June, then the board comes out October, then we have to move you again. So could you stay there for 6 months until the board comes out?" And I thought that would be a cinch.
Wow.
But my new commander said, no, I had to move on, which doesn't really make sense.
Really?
But then I realized that if I had left in June, he was going to give me a letter of reprimand, which would be on top.
Really?
Yeah, because
they
I
were
would let
really
them
trying
know.
to push you out.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
When you transfer, you get another written report when you transfer, and that would have been on top. All he had to do was just sit there and let my last performance report be on top. But I figured out that wasn't going to happen.
Oh, wow.
That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But I still love the Air Force. I realized there were 5 people who did that, and I am still fighting it. And I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah. Definitely. And so the book is it ongoing now, the struggle? I mean, you're still fighting it? Is it still maybe a second book that you might have come out?
Yeah, I am still fighting it. The book takes up to a course where the board said no, but you can apply more than one time. The book spells out my history growing up in a segregated society in North Carolina, and some of the remarks and some of the reaction that my troops also felt shocked and sympathetic and tried to help me. But this guy, the chief of staff, wasn't going to move.
Wow.
He wasn't going to move.
Did you find any other folks maybe that were also having the same discrimination put to them? Or
oh yeah, at
somehow?
the academy, yeah.
Uh-huh.
There were 2 black females who worked for this same guy that he made them curtail their assignments because he didn't want them in the personnel section where he worked. I mean, you just don't curtail an assignment at the academy. You're in gorgeous Colorado Springs and you are in a special assignment. You just don't leave that, until your time is up. So yes, this guy, but I feel like we had a superintendent, the person who's in charge, who was there mostly to retire.
Yeah.
That's a retirement slot, and really did not support the African Americans who were assigned to the academy.
Yeah. That's unfortunate because I mean it's unfortunate that takes place, and especially if there's a lot of other people. Maybe the thing to do is hire a class action attorney if there's multiple people.
I'm sorry, my book is selling very well again. People are interested, especially I'm gonna go into now, but people are interested and they're reading it and said, they were surprised that it happened in the military. And it happened in the military. But so I'm happy that it's getting traction again. I'm going to start on volume 2 that would take us through the steps that I'm going through to quote fight this on the outside with the board and picking up all of the subpoenas and sworn testimony, the violation of Air Force regulations, and putting those all together. And the publisher has already hit me with, please do volume 2.
Yeah. Hey, you definitely want to do volume 2.
Yes, I want to do volume 2. So I am working on that now.
Yeah, because we want to have this thing resolved. And it sounds, if you get together with maybe some of the other people that were discriminated against as well, I'm familiar with the Mormon Church's little con game. The reason they were, they can't even release Brigham Young's, one of their founders, journals because it's filled with racism, and he said some of the most toxic things about black people, and it was endemic through most of the history of that cult.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah. In 1978, when they came out with that ruling, that suddenly God decided that it was cool for black people to join the church or hold the priesthood. I guess I think you could join the church, but you couldn't hold the priesthood. I think that was the game afoot. But the reason they made that change, of anybody who was in the know, was because they were opening up missions in Africa and South America. And no one wanted to join their church because, they're like, you're secondhand citizens. You can't, that's Brigham Young said something ugly, much uglier than that, to that effect. But he's, you're secondhand citizens, so you don't, or secondhand people, so you don't get the priesthood, so you can't, hold power in the church. No one wants to join a church, so you can't, that thinks of you in that way, right? You don't
right. I understand that.
And so they came up with it because they need to make money off of the missions in Africa and South America. And that's really what it was. I mean,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that was really the impetus behind it. If you research it, was they were trying to open these missions and send missionaries down there for to get people to join the church and give them their money, and they couldn't. People were like, "What? We can't hold the priests, so we can't hold leadership positions in your church because your book says we're horrible people." I mean, they cleaned up. There was a bunch of, if I recall rightly, there was a bunch of N-words and nasty stuff written about colored people throughout Joseph Smith's little Bible plagiarism game. I think it was Mark Twain who said it was the greatest plagiarization of the Bible ever made, the Book of Mormon.
You're talking about the Book of the Mormons, right?
Yeah. He read it. I mean, he met Brigham Young, and he was just shocked by it all. He's what the.
It's amazing how you get people to believe some things.
Yeah. So when you say you said earlier in the show, it's endemic to that society. It is. I grew up in that society. I can tell you, it still is to this day. It's really sad. But hopefully, you can get enough people together and raise enough awareness up through the Pentagon. Although I don't know, things may have really changed in how the Pentagon looks at things. If you're familiar with what's going on in 2026, I guess it might be hard to. There's a whole different white nationalist sort of thing that's taken over that's really just rebranded KKK. That's really all white nationalism is, people, is rebranded KKK. They just changed the name to make it, everyone, not have the negative connotation. They snuck it up to everybody. So hopefully people will read your book and get to know stuff about you, your journey through life. And, I imagine this affected your retirement as well, right? Because your guys' levels affect your retirement payout.
Yeah, definitely a lower grade and less time in.
Yeah.
You get paid by your grade and how many years you serve. So yes, 22 versus 30, a good chance at promotion. But I'm impressed with your knowledge of the LDS Church,
Sadly, I have too much knowledge.
Yeah, but you can't be raised with a certain philosophy all your life. And then somebody comes out with a letter in 1978, says, "Oh, what I told you before, it's God."
Oh yeah, it's still endemic to that place. I spent a lot of time in Utah, so
you did?
It's everywhere. Okay. It's everywhere. It's pretty common. I think the state only has maybe 3% of the population are African American, and part of the reason black people don't move here is because they're smart, because it gets really damn cold. And
really,
I don't like it here because and I think they kind of know, they kind of figured out the game of what's going on up here, and they're like, we're not gonna have nothing to do with that. We'll stay where people like us. But it's pretty much a weird thing. But I'm hoping you can get some resolution. I'm hoping you can.
Okay, thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. And anything more you want to tell us, Joseph, that maybe I should have asked you about that's in the book that people should know about to pick it up?
Like I said, I didn't consider myself an author. I've gotten very good reviews on my book, and I hope it helps people in the military and their spouses and their friends, whatever, when they read it, to realize to basically watch out. And it could happen to you, because I was surprised that it happened to me.
Yeah.
A 22-year-old, all outstanding, reports a squadron commander. So if it happens to me, it can happen to a young airman or a sergeant very easily.
Yeah.
If it happened to me. My concern was there was nobody to go to. All the people that I would normally go through for help, the chief of staff had them all under him.
Wow.
The IG, the social actions guy, the investigating officer was handpicked by him, and he lied to satisfy. I don't know whether it satisfied his church bishop. I'm not sure how strong that church bishop is, but it's a known fact that he was a bishop in the LDS church right outside of the academy.
Oh, he had the leadership position of power.
Yeah. So I don't know whether or not he pledged allegiance to his Air Force career or to his church bishop.
Yeah, mostly they would probably default to the church. I mean, the bishop does hold some power, unfortunately, in this case.
Yeah, but he was a bishop, and everybody knew it. Yeah. And he would, at the academy special assignments like that, you can choose people that you want to sign there, and he was choosing LDS members to fulfill
playing the
to
favorite.
fulfill critical slots like the IG and social actions, personnel. They were all members of the LD and the SJA. I can't forget him.
Uh-huh.
They put some bad wording in my report. I mean, they just told a complete story, you know.
Wow. That's unfortunate, man.
And the problem is people normally believe the staff judge advocate.
Yeah.
People normally believe this. So when people read that, and when he said, I stole some plexiglass, people believe that. But the only district attorney I know that went off the key was a guy at Duke in Durham County when you know about the Duke lacrosse players.
Oh, the Duke lacrosse players that were accused of
when the DA withheld information and
he
was running for re-election in Durham County.
Yeah.
Not Funk, I think his name is.
Yeah. They ended up I think disbarring him and stuff.
Yeah, he was disbarred. I think he had jail sentence, but I think it was suspended.
I think so. That or didn't he commit suicide or maybe just died?
I know if he didn't, he probably thought about it a couple of times.
I think maybe the rest of us thought about it. Yeah, he did some damage to those.
Not Fong, yes. In Durham County, North Carolina.
Yeah, that brings it all back.
Yeah,
that was horrible. That really, I mean, the damage that was done to those boys, and the gal actually came out and bragged that she lied.
Yes,
and it was unfortunate.
Everybody thought those guys were guilty. You know, a black stripper, lacrosse guys at Duke. You know, rich lacrosse guys. They wanted a black stripper and everything else, so they thought those guys were guilty. You know.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. So as we go out, give people a final pitch out to order your book up and all that good stuff.
Of course, you can order my book on Amazon. Books A Million has some. It's translated into Spanish for the Spanish audience. It's also translated into French. So they're selling it the world over. They're having a big conference in Beijing next month, and it's been translated into Chinese. So I can't go, but they're going to carry the book for me. The big pitch is, please read it, buy it, and I'm sure you will learn something from it.
Yeah, sure you'll learn something, pass the word around.
And hopefully for the young sergeants and their spouses, etc., if they can do it to me, they can do it to anyone.
Yep. Yeah, we don't want that.
No, but Chris, thank you a lot.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming on the show, and we appreciate your service. And we've had a lot of great Air Force and military folks on the show, and we always appreciate what you guys do in standing in the breach of democracy and defending it. Thank you very much, Joseph. Give us .coms, emails, social media, wherever you want people to get to know you better on the interwebs or reach out to you.
Okay. J.W. Hoffler at CenturyLink.net is my email.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thanks for tuning in. Order up his book wherever fine books are sold. There'll be a link for it on the Chris Voss Show. Promotion denied. You can find it there on the web. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.
All right, Joseph, great job.